Hi, I'm Charlotte Ross, and I am going to teach you a little bit about Lawrence Kohlberg's moral development theory. Lawrence Kohlberg, some things about him, he actually graduated with his bachelor's degree from the University of Chicago in less than a year, which is really amazing. All of us know in college, like, that's ridiculous. After that, he went on back to his alma mater to be a psychology professor there. After that, he left to teach at the Graduate School of Education at Harvard University. Kohlberg was best known for his theory of the stages of moral development, which we were talking about, but his stages actually developed as an extent of Jean Piaget's account of children's moral development theory, which is almost identical, but Lawrence Kohlberg made it a lot more broad. The moral development theory actually has 3 levels, and each level has 2 stages, making 6 stages altogether. The first level is the pre-conventional level, and it has stage 1 and stage 2. Stage 1 is the obedience and punishment orientation level. This stage is when a child tries to figure out the system, such as thinking about how to avoid punishment. If I do this, how do I avoid getting spanked or put in a corner or anything that a child doesn't really want to have to do? Stage 2 is the self-interest orientation level stage. This stage is when a child tries to figure out why they must do something and question what is in it for them. They're thinking, if I clean the dishes, what is that going to do for me? The moral development theory stage level 2 is the conventional level, which has stage 3 and stage 4 within it. Stage 3 is the interpersonal accord and conformity stage. This is the stage when a child decides what is nice, such as sharing or helping. Stage 4 is the authority and social order maintaining orientation stage. This is when a person decides what is right and wrong. This could be telling a teacher about a friend cheating because you know it's academically wrong and you don't want to get your friend in trouble, but you know it's not right. Level 3 is the post-conventional level, which has stage 5 and stage 6 within it, which is the last part of the moral development theory. Stage 5 is when a person discovers what makes other morally right by looking at their values and actions. Stage 6 is when you really apply that, but stage 6 is the universal ethical principles stage. And this stage is when a person decides their own principles without thinking of the universal moral rules, such as almost the whole world knows it's really nice to open a door, but this person decides he doesn't want to do that. Some key terms you really want to know before looking at the moral development theory would be pre-conventional morality, which is the approach to right and wrong that's taken by children. You'd want to know the conventional morality, which is based on or in accordance with what is generally done or believed. The post-conventional morality is individuals have developed their own personal set of ethics and morals, and they want to use that to drive their behavior. Accord is a word that you need to know, which is to be harmonious or consistent with something. You also want to know what social contrast is, which is an implicit agreement among the members of a society to cooperate with for social benefit. Some practical applications you could use this moral development theory in the classroom would be allowing the students to realize what wrong and right is, because when a student really realizes they've done something wrong, the first thought is, what punishment should I be given for this? What punishment am I going to be given for this? And when a student really thinks that, you're pushing their moral development theory. And this will make the student not want to do the wrong thing again, realizing their first thought was they're going to get punished. So if we don't want to get punished, we just won't do it again. Why must an educator know this theory? I think it's really great for an educator to know this theory because it better helps you understand your students. Students age so differently, and knowing where they're at in their moral development makes you pinpoint what steps you're going to use to help teach them. At different ages, the students would know different stages of the theory. So if you're teaching at different levels in schools, you really want to know which level is where they are in the stage, because you're not going to teach a kindergartner the same way you're going to teach an 8th grader or a high schooler. The teacher would know how to handle a situation with a student based on the student's age. An interesting question I thought about, and a lot of others when I did a lot of research on it, was, since we say people age differently, so how does that fall upon the thought of people's moral development growing differently? And I think it's really interesting to think about, because I know a lot of people think boys age differently than girls, but do boys have a different moral development than girls? I think it would be interesting to look into. A fact about it was psychology actually added a whole new field because of Kohlberg's moral development theory. There were extensive research and a lot more books written just because of this moral development theory. I think it's really awesome. It did really good for psychology. The moral development theory, there's some pros and there's some cons. Because it does set a norm, there's a pro because it provides a norm for children to measure up to while aging. So you say, okay, a student needs to be here when he's age 8. So if a student's there, that's perfect. If they're up here, we know they're way ahead of their time, but we know if they're down here, they might be falling behind. Children are able to use it to catch up in aging. If they see they're falling behind, they can tell themselves, okay, we need to really act serious and get to moving. And it is a timeline for development, which is really good because we see it in different ages and we watch the ages grow, and I think it's really good to use. Some cons of the moral development theory is because it does provide a norm, it can make others feel really bad about themselves if they are falling behind in the norm and they know they're falling behind. It'll make them feel bad about themselves. It also measures all people to each other, which people are so different, and there's between their psychology and their culture, people age so differently, and so we can't really measure everybody to this one standard. Some of my references was explorable.com, study.com, and psychologynoteHQ.com. Thank you for watching.